in this, of course I can always talk about the symptoms, but with depersonalization, I feel like I've actually made a lot of progress in working through it. So as I just mentioned, right, I think for me, depersonalization was something that I had this light bulb moment of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I have that, right? Which is most of the time I'm just not conscious of being in my body, right? We walk around, we, are experiencing the world, we're going for a swim. And yet for me, it's really hard for me to focus on the body sensations that I'm currently having, right? It's, by the way, why I didn't orgasm until I was like 21, because even today, like, if I'm in a more anxious state or when my PTSD symptoms are a little bit elevated, the connection with my body is completely off. And that's anywhere from, scratching my skin and not really feeling it, right? Maybe I might get relief of an itch I was feeling, but not really feeling it, right? It's kind of, I'm like in this shell of a body, like I'm separated from my body. And I think a lot of times when I am in that more anxious state, the best way to describe it is like watching my life on a movie where I'm conscious about what is happening in my life, but I'm not in my body experiencing it, right? And my former therapists have explained, why this happens as, part of a result of like PTSD, right? I went through these traumatic experiences when I was growing up, with kind of daily abuse that happened on my body, abuse of my body, taking advantage of my body. And for me, one of the ways that my body and brain moved through that and survived through that was checking the fuck out, right? Was dissociating from the moment mentally, right? To be like, I'm not here, I'm not conscious about what's happening, and then dissociate from my body. So depersonalize, which is, this is not my body and I cannot feel that and I don't want to feel that. And when you think like that so many times repetitively in moments where you're traumatized, where you're really having this traumatic imprint on your brain and memory, that carries over to the rest of your life and for the rest of your life, right? And so for me, it's not just in moments where I'm feeling scared that I feel, separated from my body. It's like daily, right? Like, I feel like it is a really big win that I can sit here in front of a microphone recording Tigress and I can consciously feel where my butt hits the chair, because I don't think I really ever thought about that nor really felt that until like a year ago, when I started asking myself those questions actively. And, for me, there are a few things that really helped me work through that initially, which were like weighted blankets always. Like I always had weighted blankets on me. I would do my therapy sessions actually with heavy textbooks on my lap. And that was just meant to like try to get myself to like feel actually grounded. I was kind of like basically forced to do meditation like multiple times a week for like an hour. And when I did that, it was like all about getting into the body, like guided visual imagery, and having like weights on my body on those physical sensations were like healthy ways that I started to really get back into my body. Which is great because historically, depersonalization, without my knowing that that is what it was called, depersonalization was a really unhealthy thing in my life. And I still have some of those, the symptoms of it, right? Which is from a really early age, I've always struggled with recognizing myself in the mirror. When I look in the mirror, even today, like it takes me a few seconds to be like, oh, like that's me? Like that's me? Is that me? Also, a lot of my trauma, when I remembered it, happened when I was like 7 to 9 years old. And so like when I even close my eyes right now and I think about what I look like in the mirror, I think of my 9-year-old self. Like a picture of me when I was 9 is like kind of like a small Chinese Asian boy, like I had a bowl cut, I had no boobs, I like was really undeveloped puberty wise. I had some of the same facial structures, but I really had this like bobbly mushroom bowl cut. And so for me, like when I think of what I look like in the mirror, that is what I think of. And it was actually really kind of scary. I cut my hair recently to be the length of my shoulders, but for like the last 10 years, I kind of resisted my childhood bowl cuts by growing my hair out really long. So I had my hair to like the middle of my butt. And when I would look in the mirror, I would be kind of shocked or like freaked out at the start, because I'd be like, who's that? You know, like I know that's me, but is it me? You know?